This video is brought to you by Cracks Only. The link is in the video description below to get the latest gear off their website. Whether you play football or you don't, there is something there for everybody. Straight out of LA. Check it out. Good morning, people. Welcome to United View. Welcome to the morning view. Hope you guys are good, man. Let us know where you're watching from. Let us know how you're feeling. Get in the chat. Get logged in. It's been a great week so far. Actually, no, not just a great week. Like I said on many of these streams in the last sort of month and a half, I'd say. Good, solid interaction. Everybody getting involved. Super chats flying in. Comments flying in. Members chats flying in. Emojis flying in. And just everybody just having their say. That's exactly what I want to see. It's exactly what Owen wants to see. It's exactly what we want to see. Let's get the early check-in to see who is about, who is where. It's 14:48 already, says Santosh. Oh, well, I wonder where you are in the
time zones.
At the
time
time.
zones.
Yeah, exactly. Relentless Red says, good morning, my peoples. Pale Blue Dot says, morning. JB, Fleck emoji, Owen emoji. Good afternoon from Indonesia. India, I'd love to go to Indonesia. You know, that sounds like that part of the world I've always wanted to do more traveling in. So India, yeah, hold tight, everyone out there in Indonesia. Tabrez says watching from Cheetham Hill, Manchester, 8:04 p.m. in Australia right now, says Kenny Fan TV. UV growing. Lil Yo-Yo's in the chat. Joe Blackman is there. Bruno Rodriguez, Ishmael, Fabian, Simon McGill. Who else we got? JB. Daniel Luciano, K Nazir, loads of people, loads of members in the chat. So get your
By the way, when I'm clicking these comments, different keep up. There's so many.
That's a challenge.
I was going like this.
Yeah. Let's see how many people you can do before I finish the intro. Keep getting them up. I tell you what, just bring up random people as well. Everyone. Put everyone in there.
I was like playing one of those old track and field games. I was like that.
Yeah. We get a pen.
Yeah, well, you have to use the analog thing. You go out. Yeah, come on.
Yeah, there you go, mate. There you go. Farouk is in there. Bradshaw and Farouk. I do know who that is. Just Kevin Fleck, I'm here. Acknowledge me. I see you, bro. I see you. 4:05 a.m. in Atlanta. So there's so many people in there.
Acknowledge me.
Acknowledge me. Exactly. And remember, this video is brought to you by Cracks Only, as you guys saw just at the beginning of the video. The link is in the description below to be able to get your Cracks Only merchandise / soccer gear, football gear, sportswear, streetwear, your hoodies, your tracksuits, your puffer jackets, your boot bags, your undergarments, your training wear, your grip socks, your accessories, your beanie hats, your caps, everything is there from Alfredo and a gang. Big streetwear brand and soccer brand out there in Los Angeles. Those guys are doing big things at Cracks Only. So please check the video link in the description. And get your stuff there. We are started well. Nearly 500 people watching, nearly the first 100 likes through the door. So that is all of the housekeeping taken care of. I'm happy with the start we've made. We're making good progress. 250 is the first landmark. You guys know what it is by now. I don't need to tell you, but I will anyway. 250 likes. Let's get into that. And we got a lot to talk about this morning. Hojlund respect. Put respect on his name. We're going to be talking about Sir Rasmus, the record breaker, the real deal. Yeah, that's what we're going to be talking about. Oli to Bayern, which came out yesterday. I just want to talk about that for my good mate Florian.
Yeah.
You know, I do want to talk about that. Yeah. Rolls-Royce Varane as well. We're going to talk about him.
So we didn't get to that yesterday. So I wanted to get to that. Well, I wanted to get to that today as well, because I know that you've wanted to talk about Varane, particularly with some of the stats that were going out at the weekend as well, and all that kind of stuff.
My favorite, we can do it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Yes, and everything else in between as well. Probably a little bit about Dan Ashworth as well, because I know some people have said, you know, is he still gardening? You know, what's going on with Dan Ashworth? Is he trimming hedges? You know what I mean? So
yeah.
Yes, let's go. Let's go, Owen.
Yes, let's start off talking about Rasmus Højlund. Alan Shearer, someone who knows about scoring goals in the Premier League, certainly, has been doing some analysis on Rasmus Højlund. And he says the one thing that never changed was Højlund getting into dangerous positions and not being afraid to miss. His ability to chase long balls, to understand, to take a chance and hope that a mistake occurs, referring to the first goal, of course, against Luton. He also said his second goal was instinctive. I mean, his reaction. You have got a split second to think about things there. The ball has come at him with pace, and then you twist your body and guide it in. It's an incredible and very clever finish. In addition to that, there was a story going around from Chris Wheeler from the Daily Mail saying that Rasmus Højlund requested a one-on-one chat for half an hour with Robin van Persie to pick the brains of the former Manchester United title-winning striker when he visited Carrington recently. Add it in,
Owen. Add it in.
Of course. Title-winning striker.
Yes.
Didn't win a title at any other English club that I can recall. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm remembering.
No, you're not wrong. He didn't win the Premier League.
Okay, yeah. No, I just wanted to double check that.
I will confirm that.
Fact check. No misinformation there at all.
Correct.
But whilst Van Persie was there doing part of his completing his coaching badges, Rasmus Højlund saw him and said, "Hey, I'm going to pick his brain for half an hour." And look, I don't know if that's why he suddenly started scoring goals, but certainly it is working. But I do want to push back when it comes to Rasmus Højlund because there's been a lot of naysayers. There's been a lot of doubters. And even now, and this is what's funny with this sort of football fan sphere, right, is no one's allowed to admit that they were wrong. No one's allowed to backtrack on an opinion. No one's allowed to go, I tell you what, I thought one thing, but this player proved me wrong. Or actually, you know what? I wasn't right about that one. I got it wrong. Not everyone's perfect because people are still doubling down on the Rasmus Højlund slander to the point that I've seen people, because obviously, look, he broke a record. I mean, he legitimately broke a record. The youngest player ever in Premier League history to score in 6 consecutive Premier League games. And some of the names that's involved in that is pretty good going. It's like Erling Haaland's involved in that. I think Ronaldo, is involved in that. Who else was in that? I mean, the record is actually Joe Willock, which is kind of hilarious.
Yeah,
isn't it?
Crazy.
But the point being is there's some pretty impressive names involved in that. Yeah. He has beaten them in terms of he was younger when he scored in those 6 consecutive games. Oh, and by the way, it's actually 7 in 6. So he scored twice against Luton. And the pushback to that is, well, Flex is a striker. That's what he's meant to be doing. Oh, don't take the piss. Okay. Don't take the piss. Because when other strikers do it, when other strikers do it, they're one of the best. They're some of the best. That you get what you pay for. But when it's Rasmus Højlund, so it's what he's meant to be doing. You know, okay, yeah, whatever. And that's when the goalposts are constantly getting shifted. And even if the goalpost was shifted to get Flex, he'd still score in it because that's the kind of form he's in at the moment as well. That's the kind of form he's in at the moment, and he deserves some respect because he's still not getting service. Is he getting loads of opportunities in that team from
getting more than he's getting more than he was, but there could still be much more.
Yeah, well, that's like going from not eating at all. That's like going from, I don't know, fasting to eating once a day. Oh, I'm well full up. No, there still could be more. I mean, look at me. There's still room for more eating there involved. Take my advice, Rasmus. Yeah. So I think that he deserves some credit. I think he deserves some respect. And a point was brought up on the full-time view at the weekend. And I thought it was a really good point. And I want to ask it once again to the chat, and I want to ask it to you, Flex, which is, of all of the sort of strikers in world football right now, because we've had it.
Careful, what's going on here?
For all the strikers in world football at the moment, and for all of the talk about Victor Osimhen or whoever, right? Harry Kane, you know, whoever it may be.
Where's this going?
How many strikers in world football could you drop into Manchester United's team right now? And would they score in 6 consecutive games and score 7 goals in 6 games? Because I'm telling you now, not many. Not many would. And sometimes you don't know what you've got until you don't have it anymore. And maybe it's a case of looking at what you've got as opposed to what you don't have. Thoughts? What other striker in world football would you drop into that team and would do that? Not many. I'm not saying no one, but not many.
Yeah. Harry Kane and Haaland, obviously. They just would.
Well,
they would.
Look at Erling at the weekend.
Yeah, but let's not. Let's not. he had one game where he's missed a few, but Hojlund had 14 of those at the start. And then kicked into, you know what I mean? Yeah. And Erling Haaland, last time I checked, is still the top scorer in the Premier League. And he was out for like 2-3 months.
I'm saying not many.
Yeah.
Not many.
Would it have to be in the 9 or just in our front line? Because Salah would as well.
Different player, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. So there's only
strikers.
Just number 9. Yeah, strikers. Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. I hear where you're going with that. And I hear why you're saying that. And, obviously there's things that we don't know because we can't actually see it. But the dead search is saying Harry Kane would do that, Haaland would do that. You'd like to think that even Osimhen hasn't been his greatest, this year.
Victor Osimhen,
but would he score 7 in a row?
No.
Well, you don't know that. You can't say he wouldn't score. 7 in a row.
I watched him at AFCON.
Yeah, he's in bad form, but then. Oh, and you can't.
That's what I'm saying. Right now, that's why I'm saying
right now. Right now. Well,
right
now he's in good form.
Okay, in this Man United team, right now.
So, but are you saying across the season so far?
Who would drop it? Who?
Someone said Eddie Nketiah. Dominic Solanke.
I'll add another caveat
Ollie Watkins.
To it as well. And this just makes it even more impressive. So the names you are going to give me, how many of them are 21?
He's added it in, and I'm here for it. How many of them is their first ever season in the Prem?
But I think that's my point.
No, but you're right.
That's how impressive it is what he's doing.
And they are trying to downplay what he's doing. When really, actually, I'll be honest, I wasn't really like at the beginning of a run, it's like so when he scores his first one, it was that Villa, innit? You're like, oh, you know what? Just so glad he got it. Hopefully he can get some more now and just get a bit confident. Then he scores in his next game because he was out for a bit after that.
Oh, yeah. And even that with the Villa one, Old Trafford. This is the other thing as well, the people why he deserves an apology. It's because he scored after going 14 without scoring and he had tears in his eyes. And us as fans criticised him for showing emotion. When all of us, if we were in that similar situation, you score the winner at Old Trafford. During the festive period. Stretford End, after coming back from 2-0 down, you score the winner. I think a lot of people would be pretty teary-eyed, and people criticised him for that. Are we on crack? And then, when he does do really well, we go, well done, Rasmus. Well done, Rasmus. That was good support, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I hate saying the thing of like the real fans this or the not so real. Like, I just think most fans would feel where Rasmus Højlund's coming from, want the kid to do exceptionally well, and could see all along that he had something. Like most rational, reasonable fans, I believe, anyway. Because I don't know if we got different algorithms, but I don't really see. When you're saying like our own fans of like
it's there.
Wow. Okay.
Ask the chat.
The chat. Talk to us. What I would say is like you could just don't ask us, ask Alan Shearer, one of the greatest ever Premier League strikers there's ever been. Still to this day has scored the most goals ever
the record,
in the Premier League. So don't ask him, don't ask us, ask him. I'm sure he knows the goal scorer when he sees one, and to see that what he's saying there, to see what many other ex-pros have been saying about him as well, and current players, you see that he's got a lot about him, and he is in good form now. Obviously, at the rate, I think we need to find a balance because he's not going to be. I don't know if he's going to be a freak of nature and turn into a Haaland type in terms of just always getting loads of unlimited goals and stuff.
I don't like that comparison. It's like to be honest, it's a really weird comparison. To be honest, because
just because the name's similar.
They begin with the letter H. Like one's from Denmark, one's from Norway. Like there's no real comparison.
No. It's just the name Haaland, Hojlund.
They both play in Manchester. Okay,
exactly.
It's kind of, and their style of play is very different.
Completely different. So he's not going to be. I don't think he's going to get goals at the volume of Haaland. That's not what he's going to be. But he can be Man United striker for many years, and clearly he's got so much to improve on and such a ceiling to be able to hit. You can see that there's something to work with. And this is like what we were talking about when he first came. Obviously removed the price because that did annoy us a little bit. It just should never have been that high. But as of all things, especially with goal scorers, when the goals are flying in, it becomes less of a talking point. Put it that way. It's like Owen always says, and like we always say, price tags are only mentioned when people don't fulfill them. No one's talking about Declan Rice's price tag. Well, they are, but for the positive reasons of saying actually it wasn't enough. You know, he's that good. And I'm not saying that Rasmus Højlund is the equivalent to the striker version of Declan Rice. He's much more experienced. Declan Rice in the form of his life. He's going into his prime. But what my point is that in this moment, I haven't seen people sort of saying, can't believe he cost 64 million. Because we have had our moments of saying that, because Man United still shouldn't have had to pay. We still shouldn't have had to pay that much for a kid who's raw. And look, that's a different show. You know, the new look Man United that's about to be hopefully doesn't do that anymore. You know, because our negotiating skills are better. But in terms of the quality of the player and the type of player we needed to go forward, which he does need support, he does need help. We need to still improve in the striker area in the next window. But the profile of what we've got, finally, we've taken our time, identified the right kid, and nurtured him.
And he's just that. And he's just that. He's just he's a kid. I mean, it's interesting here. Look, Show says in the chat, Owen is doing way too much here. Let him develop and have a good full season first before doing this respect me stuff. And I don't think I am doing too much here. Like I said, I think when you set records, when you break records, I think you're allowed to go, actually, I deserve a bit of respect here. You've literally done something no one else has done.
But in Show's defense, because someone said we agree all the time the other day. If he doesn't score from now to the end of the season, then it will go down to a purple patch, just like what Marcus Rashford had. Like we don't want it to be that.
I totally understand that, and I'm not saying he's the
so you're saying
I'm not saying he's the second coming of this, that, and the other. I'm saying those people that have written him off as a flop, when you then go and break a record, you're allowed to push back and actually go. Some of those critics, now what? And I think it's laughable that some of those critics now are trying to play down it as if it's nothing. I think once you get into, like I said, when you walk the same or breathe the same air as other people that have set records in the past, I think you're allowed to push back and puff your chest out a little bit. And I think as fans, we should do that as well. And again, not overhyping, not saying he's the best striker in the world. He's better than Erling Haaland. He's better than Kylian Mbappe. But because that is ridiculous to say. That is ridiculous. But when you're setting records or breaking records at the age that he's doing, then I think there's room to be excited and room to puff out your chest and go, actually, yeah, he deserves some respect for that. Absolutely.
Show says, Owen, you asked who in the world can replace him with laughing emojis. John James says...
I didn't say who could replace him. What I said, and this is twisting words.
I
said, who else in world football right now in this team would you drop into that team and would do what he done? And then also on top of that, at his age as well, there aren't many. There are not many.
Toby says he deserves some accolades. Vegeta says Owen is right. When he wasn't scoring, the chat was loud. It was loud when he wasn't scoring. I do agree with that.
Yeah, and then when he does start scoring, we go quiet, which is weird. Yeah.
Chris says, I think as fans, we go in too hard too soon, whether it be for good or for the bad. So Chris is sort of saying we shouldn't praise too much, but also we go into too much when people play poorly. I think that's just football fans in general, definitely. JB's been a member for 6 months, says, can we get an Owen so you're saying emoji? Big up.
Honestly. That's what it is. That's what it is.
So you're saying he's one of the best strikers in Europe? And
I would say I'd say at the moment, to be fair, in terms of form, he's one of the best strikers in Europe on form at the moment. Yeah. Of course he is.
Red Baron, thanks for the super chat, says Flex would do it. He's a striker. You didn't give me a thought that I could if you dropped me.
So you're saying, Flex, that you're going to replace Rasmus Højlund. So you're saying you're replacing Rasmus.
I'm saying in my prime, I could have replaced him, for a few games and scored some goals, definitely. Yeah. No SK Mazid's been a member for 3 months. Says, love from India, Flex and Owen. That's another place I really want to visit as well, India. Man United to hurry up. I know we're going back to the States again, but love to do a tour of India. Never doubted Hojlund. His confidence has been skyrocket at the moment. Give the ball to him and he will score. You do feel that, when he's around anything, he's just, that confidence is there.
For that first goal, absolutely. When he's through on goal, and this is the difference of form, isn't it? Is that at first goal against Luton, I know a couple of months ago, we'll see how this goes. Even though he was scoring goals in the Champions League, but you knew he was going to score. He's through on goal. Of course he's going to score.
I just knew. Yeah, when he was running through Kaminsky, I was like, he's not going to mess this up. That's what Garnacho should have done actually as well.
And Bruno.
Put the game outside, and Bruno. That was a good block from Sambi Lukonga. But you should still find a way where you definitely score in that situation, though, to be fair. But yeah, it was a good block. Red Baron says Hojlund and Haaland because they have blonde hair. That's why people keep comparing. Tommy Gembat, big up to you, bro. Says love Rasmus, goals if more support for him. Yeah, he will get more goals if there is more support. Daniel Luciano, been a member for 12 months. Big up to you, Daniel. Says more than just goals. His build-up play and runs are so impressive to me. I can't wait for us to begin making chances for him. That's still an issue, which is what Owen was talking about. I think what he does do really well as well, yeah, is off the ball. He works his nuts off, doesn't he? He works hard. He does, obviously he's raw and young, so he does still need to master the position. Sometimes he was more interested in fighting them
he still does
in the
that.
form he still does that. And obviously when your confidence is low as well, any pro will tell you, any person who's played football will tell you at any level, it's like when your confidence is gone, you second guess things, you overcompensate for the lack of goals or assists or the lack of form that you've got, wherever it is that you play. You overcompensate by trying to do too much. I have to prove it. Give me the ball. I have to prove I can win this 1v1. I have to show everyone that I'm not this dead player. I have to show myself that I'm not this bad. And you start overexerting yourself and you become uptight, you start snatching at things, you start making wrong decisions, you hold on to the ball longer than you should, or you get rid of it too quickly, you rush, or you take too long. Like your brain does this. And sometimes I think in his bad moments or his tougher moments when he was not as confident because the goals weren't flying in, he was just sort of wrestling defenders and the team sort of stitching him up as well, hitting it to him and he's got two defenders up him or just one big massive. Like when we played in Pamecano, when we played Bayern Munich's second game, he just got gobbled up, man. When we played, who was it he was getting gobbled up by as well? I can't remember who it was.
Well, it's a couple of times, isn't it? Because also as well, as you mentioned, like if you're not getting the ball that often, then when you do get the ball, you're like, I've got to do something with it. I've got to do something. And it must be infuriating because even this happened at the weekend against Luton where ball comes into him, really good bit of hold-up play, backs off the defender, touch, gives it to like a Bruno or Casemiro, and then they give it away. And you must be like, like, you go, that's done. And I don't know if I'm going to get the ball again for a while now. It must be really infuriating. And the goals he scored, it's not like every goal is the same or every goal you can put in the same kind of bracket. They're all totally different.
Will Fleck Bonnie. Some of these names are funny, honestly. Robin Van Flex. Fleck over Dong Van Zoo. Thanks, guys. Appreciate that. Yeah, I agree, Owen. I agree. And that's it. When you're a striker, when the goals aren't coming, it's very difficult to bring something else to the game. One, because, that's your job. So when the striker's not scoring, eyebrows are raised, especially if you're getting chances and missing them. If you're hardly involved, it's even harder because it's like you're not getting the ball. People aren't playing through you. You're not bringing in, assists and bringing people into play. You're just on the periphery of games. You're just wrestling defenders and coming off the wrong end of the duels. It's quite demoralizing, actually. You feel like you're just there and you just can't bring anything to the team. Yeah. So he does deserve massive respect for that. JB, being a member for 6 months, says, can we get Owen? Oh, yeah, I said that one already. We're just under 1,000 likes and we're nearly at 250. We're at 220 likes. I like that ratio, guys.
1,000 watching.
1,000 watching, yeah. Sorry, 1,000, just under 1,000 viewers live. And we are just, not far off 250 likes. We're at 224 likes now. So let's get that 250 in the bag as we break that 1,000 people watching live, which we've just done. We are post 1,000. So get your likes in the chat. Look at that, 240, 250's coming. 250's coming in the next few seconds, mate. That's what it is. Then we can start building towards the 500. That's going to be the next. So let's get the 250 in the bag. Is Ole Gunnar Solskjær going to become Bayern Munich next manager?
I love this story. I love this story because it
came out if you want Ole to get a job and all the people who said who would want him after being at Man United, Bayern Munich, mate. Like if you want Ole to get the job.
I love this story.
Interim Ole hits different.
I know, and it comes from a credible source as well. When it even came out initially last night. When it even came out last night, I was like, when those parody accounts, and I thought this is going to be like Plettigol B or something like that. But it wasn't. You can see it on the skin there. Florian Plettenberg says, news, Solskjaer, FC Bayern is monitoring the 50-year-old as a potential interim solution. But the original plan remains. FC Bayern would like to continue with Thomas Tuchel until at least the end of the season. Nothing concrete at this stage, but he is being monitored. It must be stressed. A lot of people are being monitored because Florian Plettenberg has also said, like, Xabi Alonso at the end of the season. He's also said Zinedine Zidane also is liked and admired at Bayern Munich. There was even rumors about Hansi Flick going back, even though they said that's more unlikely. He wants something long-term. But if they go to an interim solution, which I suppose it could be, considering that Xabi Alonso's not leaving Bayer Leverkusen when they're about to win the league midway through the season to go to Bayern Munich or anything like that. So if they go to an interim, it could be Ole Gunnar Solskjær. Could you imagine, Fleck?
Well, we're going to get straight into that, but there has been some significant super chats that I really want to put to the forefront, and big up to those guys. There's 3 there. Abhishek says, I can see Manchester Derby becoming the new El Clasico if Ineos succeeds. Wow. If Ineos succeed in doing what we think they're going to do, they could put Man United back on a map where that would be the biggest game in English football. Interesting. Instead of Messi versus Ronaldo, it will be Haaland versus Hojlund. Wow. I don't know.
See, I'm not saying that. See, I'm going over the top this morning. I don't think that.
I don't know about that. But listen, I like the excitement. Abhishek, I like the excitement. And Flip, you have flipped the script this morning, my guy. You have flipped the script.
Now.
Flipping heck. $50 super chat. And Flip says, good morning, UV community. Be encouraged to drop a like and comment. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to listen to Flip. He's telling you. Rasmus is showing consistency in the Prem, where he has now got 15 goals and assists in 30. Wow, when you look at it like that, that's really good. If the stats are showing right, that's a 50% goal contribution, even with the dry spell. Is that what he's got in all comps? Yeah, because he's got... How many he's got in the league now? 7. He scored 2. No, he was 6 in 6. Yeah, we wanted him to be 6 in 6, and he scored 2. So he's got 7 in the league.
But he's got 8 actually, because do they count the one against Aston Villa as part of that thing? Is it 7
or 8? No, because it is for him really, because he was injured. He didn't play. He was ill, wasn't he? Against
Forest.
He didn't play when we lost. So
I think it's 8. Isn't it? Is it 8 in the league?
He's got 7 in the league.
Is it 7?
Yeah, he's got 7 in the league. That's including the Villa one, and then 5 in the Champions League.
And he's got 2 assists in the Premier League as well.
That's only 12 goals. Oh, and then he got 1 against Newport in the FA Cup. And what's he got? People saying 8.
People saying 8 in the league. Was I right?
I think you were right.
8 in the league. Look at this. Why am I listening to Flex, guys? He's put me down. Put me down. He's gaslighting me.
Transfer market.
So he's got 13 goals overall plus 2 assists. Yeah. That's 15. Flip's
right. So 15, right. So Flip's right. Okay. So you are right.
Flip doesn't spend $50 on a super chat.
To be wrong.
To be wrong. To put misinformation in there as well.
Yes, exactly. Because if I just go to
now they're saying 7 in the league. What's going on?
Right, I'm gonna get it right now. So he's got 7 goals. He's got 7 goals in the league.
Why don't I listen to Flex? Right. I'm an idiot.
You all laughed at me. Right, here's his stats. This is his stats this year. 20 games in the league, he scored 7 goals, and he's got 2 assists. Yes. 6 games in the Champions League, scored 5 goals. 2 games in the FA Cup, and he scored 1. 2 games in the Carabao Cup, didn't score. So his total tally of goals in all comps is 13, and his total assists is 2. His total yellow cards is also 2. So Flip, no, because Flip's saying
15 goals and assists.
Yes, Flip is right. He is correct. We got there in the end. Flip.
Why is it, Flex? Whenever me and you do maths, it takes a long time.
I know. But when you do, I'm terrible at maths. But when you do, it's weird because when you talk about players and you say goal contributions, so you add up the goals and assists, it's like obviously the number gets higher. So sometimes it could be a bit misleading. But listen, it's still directly impacting the games. But also some people can impact the games when they don't get goals and assists and their work gets sort of, Kobe Mainu, who's not getting assists, he's got the 1 goal, but look what he's doing in the team. Just look what he's doing. So it isn't always about that, but for a forward, it's an easy metric, isn't it? Because that's what you want to know about forwards. How many goals and assists are they getting? It's different for a 6 or for an 8. You know what I mean? But thank you, Flippinek. Milan says Ollie 3rd and 2nd with no structure must have done some things right. Ollie ball under a proper structure with players like Sane, Kane, and Coman. I'll be there. And Ed says if Ollie goes Bayern, he's the Choupo-Moting of management. Let's discuss it further. Yeah, I forgot what you asked me. Can I see it? Did you say or what?
I can't remember. I mean,
he's a good interim.
He's good. He's good interim. Ollie hits different. He can't get his team back together. Of course, you know his assistant coaches, Carrick and McKenna. They're doing very well in their own respective managerial careers. Can't even get Eric Ramsey. He's off to Minnesota in the MLS as well. So I don't think. I don't know. Actually, I mean. The reason I say I don't know is because it's looking at their targets. Looking at their targets, it is feasible, isn't it? Because if you want Xabi Alonso, like I said, you're not getting him to the end of the season. And I don't know if bring Zidane now. Zidane. The whole Zinedine Zidane thing. I don't think Zinedine Zidane's interested in anything that ain't Real Madrid. Yeah, if the Real Madrid job comes up again in the future, he might manage Mbappe in a few years' time. You know what I mean?
So
or the France job. I don't
can't see him anywhere else.
Nah, it's Real Madrid or France. I think he's waiting. By all accounts, he was waiting for Didier Deschamps to leave at the last World Cup, wasn't he? And then he didn't. Yeah. So I still think he'll end up doing France. So put Zidane to one side. I don't see that one happening as well. Hansi Flick, look, the way it ended with him there was a disgrace. I mean, he's like their most successful manager ever. He had like his best win percentage of any Bayern manager, I think, ever. Won every single trophy. And then when it came down to like his contract or whatever, it was, and so he went to the German national team, and then that completely fell apart as well. I think their treatment of Nagelsmann as well was ridiculous because they bring in this manager that's a young manager, and their point is he's going to be our guy for 10, 15, 20 years because he's so young. And then they abort it to, go, okay, we'll bring in Thomas Tuchel. And make no mistake, Bayern Munich, I mean, talk about stumbling over the line for the Bundesliga last season. The reason they won the Bundesliga is, it was only because Dortmund bottled it. All Dortmund had to do was win at home, and they didn't. They didn't win at home. So with all of those options that are out there, maybe they do go to an interim. And if you're Ole Gunnar Solskjær, you don't turn it down, do you? Of course you don't. Would he do that? I don't know. Imagine he won the Champions League, Fleck.
Wow. I mean, it will be the Di Matteo vibe, innit? Like, strange things can happen. Strange things can happen in football. I mean, they won't win the Champions League because they're not good enough to. But, even Eric Dyer has gone there. Imagine he won the Champions League after being, imagine Harry Kane does, So, yeah. Sir Alex Ferguson says, Ollie talking what? Taking Tuchel's job is so sweet, I'm going to say, because I don't really understand that. I'm just going to say Tuchel because I know that's what you mean. But, yeah. Ollie taking Tuchel's job is so sweet. I just... Listen, it's weird because you laugh at it and you go... Because when Ollie left, wasn't there bits like... he's doing the under-14s back in Norway somewhere.
Oh, yeah. And then they got like...
they
got relegated, or but the thing is also
people
as well,
are clowning him, and he just wanted to be with his family and just take some time out. But also, people would push back and say, "Well, his phone wasn't exactly ringing with top jobs, was it? Let's be real, it wasn't."
Well, this is what's interesting, Flex, though. But I mean, Ole Gunnar Solskjær, he's got a massive history with Bayern Munich. I mean, arguably our greatest moment, his greatest moment is against Bayern Munich. So for him to be even the interim manager of the team that he defeated in the European Cup final in 1999, that's an unbelievable story, isn't it? And just from looking back on it, it'd be a crazy story. And look, Bayern Munich's one of the biggest clubs in the world. They managed to sign Harry Kane because they're one of the biggest clubs in the world. So for Solskjær to be there would be kind of crazy. They're not winning the Bundesliga. I think quite a lot of people. I watched that Leverkusen versus Munich game a couple of weeks ago. My goodness me, Flex. Leverkusen just wiped the floor with them.
Easy.
My God. I don't know what they were doing for the last goal because when you're 2-0 down, why Manuel Neuer goes up for a corner in the last minute. And then, of course, they score. That was I don't know. That's just a sucker punch.
try and get a goal.
I don't know. I don't know, Flex, but
bring it down by
they
one.
were. It wasn't as if, and this is like people pointing out that game. It wasn't as if it was like, oh, Bayer Leverkusen, they played on the break. No, they dominated Bayern Munich that game.
No, they do that every game.
Dominated,
and then they go and get done by Bochum. So he's in trouble,
and they lost
man.
to Lazio, didn't they, in the Champions League? I
think
1-0.
Well. Yeah, they're 1-0 down in the first leg. So, mate, if they go out of the Champions League, it'll probably just go from that. If there's no recovering from that, can't go out in the round of 16. What is it? Round of 16, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, who knows? We're not in it, Flex. Who cares about the Champions League? Because guess what? I don't want to play that intro ever again. We're not in the Champions League. Where's Man United? Not there.
I know. Oh, God, don't. However, speaking of Champions League, I want to speak about Champions League Varane, the Goats, the Wraith, the Phantom, the Cullinan, the Rolls-Royce Varane.
Yes. This was some interesting stats that, again, we didn't have time to get to yesterday, but lots of people were pointing it out. The highest aerial duel win rate in the Premier League this season, Rafael Varane, 90%. That's kind of wild, isn't it? 90% aerial duel win rate. If it goes up in the air for a header, he wins most of the time, the majority of the time. The next closest, Virgil van Dijk, 83% as well. Look at that. And they called it Rolls-Royce Varane from TNT Sports as well. When it comes to Varane, because I feel like maybe in more recent weeks and maybe months, you've resigned yourself that he could possibly be going at the end of the season. Yeah. Has anything changed in your perspective of that? Is there any chance he sticks around on lesser terms? Would you be open to that? Where do you sit?
Definitely be open to it.
Where do you sit?
Mate, if we can keep Varane on lesser terms, I would absolutely do it. Absolutely do it. I don't know what they look like, how much lesser they are. It's not for me to decide. I don't know, but if we could, and I get why we have to put him on lesser wages, I absolutely would. Because I still think he's our best defender. I know he doesn't give us what Leachy gives us, because nobody does, with the way that he passes the ball, the way that he plays out from the back and stuff like that. But in terms of Mr. Consistent and just you talk about ring awareness and knowing where to be and reading the game, and how often do you see Varane make a mistake? Let's just be honest. Like forget the injuries is obviously a big part of why he can't be here. I was gonna say, you can't just like leave it. That's why I'm not saying like, keep him on a new deal. Whatever happens, we must keep him. That's why I'm like, listen, I know he can go, because we can't legislate or justify keeping him on them type of wages when he's available, this fit. But when he is fit, when he plays, he even goes under the radar with how good he is, because you just expect it, and he doesn't stand out. And those are usually that's what the best players do, especially like as defenders. It's different with attackers stand out because you're always going to see the goals, you're always going to see the amazing dribbling on or the assist or whatever. Sometimes midfielders and centre backs in particular, if they're not scoring and stuff like that, which they don't tend to. Their work goes under the radar, and just Varane just always knows where to be, can pass with both feet. There was another stat about the amount of passes he's paid with his left foot or something like that. And listen, he ain't. I'm not. I'm not going to profess. And that's just because he's a quick. What he does well is he can get the ball on both feet quite easily,
but keep the ball moving. He can't play left centre back apparently.
Exactly, and that's on our manager. Like why he did that. Even I think Eric's even saying I was a bit of an idiot then. I don't know why I even came out so strongly. I should have just said, you know what? I just think Maguire just deserves it right now, so I'm going with him. Should have just said that, because he can. Like, and that's why we were so perplexed. There was no way you can tell us, because there was a solid period in like October, wasn't it? When like
it was around the Manchester derby, and then just after that, wasn't it? Yeah,
bro, Varane couldn't get in the team legitly, like just because Maguire was playing well, and when that happens and there's low Leachy, like just play both of them, bro. Like what are you doing? But
that's not to say. That's also not to say, and this is going to be ridiculous when you're talking about Rafael Varane. I know, but that's not to say Johnny Evans hasn't done well, because we're talking about respect this morning. Johnny Evans deserves respect, and I was wrong with Johnny Evans. I watched him in the summer in pre-season, and I said, well, like everyone went, what on earth are we doing? I think people thought it was more just like a vibes, sort of when City got Scott Carson just to lift the dressing room, he never plays kind of situation. It was going to be a bit like that with Johnny Evans. Nobody thought he was going to play as much as he is. I watched him in preseason play with the youngsters in the game against Wrexham. I thought, I tell you what, his legs have gone. Like, it doesn't look good. And he has been brilliant this season.
Yeah.
Like, he has been, apart from Hojlund now, because of his recent form, surpassed it, our signing of the season. Johnny Evans is second. And like, until recently, he's been our best signing of the season.
Johnny Evans.
And he came on at the weekend. And I think we talk about Kobbie Mainoo, you know, embarrassing the senior players around him. I think Harry Maguire had an absolute stinker at the weekend. And Johnny Evans came on, and I think taught Harry Maguire a lesson. Go, there you go, mate. Just settle down.
Just
you know,
be calm.
Pass the ball, be calm. We talk about ball playing centre halves, totally composed on the ball. Not a problem. Give it to him in a difficult situation. He'll find the pass, wins headers. It deserves a ton of credit. And obviously, look, it shouldn't be here, and it's a symptom of Glazonomics in the sense of we didn't have any money in the summer, and we had to get a centre back, and we had to go to Johnny Evans. But what I will say about it is that you can see now why, when Johnny Evans was training with United in the summer just to keep up his fitness, you can see why Erik ten Hag went, mate, give him a contract.
He can play, yeah.
You can see
he can play.
And that is one of those things when Erik ten Hag got criticised for that at the time.
Yeah.
Because everyone went, Glazonomics. And again, that is true.
It is Glazonomics, but that's not Ten Hag's fault.
But you can see why Ten Hag in those training sessions went, keep him around, mate. Why? Because he's better than some of our centre-backs than we got. He's better than some of our midfielders in terms of the way they pass the ball and keep possession. Yes, give him a contract. Of course. You know, he was right. He was right about it.
Haven't seen him make a mistake since he's come here. Since he's come back. Always in the right place. Decent on the ball. Finds a good out. Just really steady. Just a good professional. And again, when you've been around the block as long as he has, you know, you don't lose it, I suppose. And he's kept himself fit. He doesn't look like he can't physically keep up. Of course, if he's 1v1 against an absolutely rapid player, he might get done. But the key to that level of experience is you don't find yourself in those vulnerable positions. That's something that Maguire still does do to this day. He was doing it all day the other day with Carlton Morris, is why he got hooked. You know, and then in the second half, Carlton Morris didn't get anywhere near that amount of joy that he was getting in the first half. He literally got Harry Maguire hooked at half time, like he did. We're at 340 likes, guys, as well. 340 likes before we carry on this conversation about the Ghost of Rafe the Phantom. And our other centre-backs. Concurrent viewers, I don't know why I'm saying the whole thing, but viewers. So I was reading it out there. We want to get to 1,200. Let's push. Share the video, drop it in your WhatsApp groups, post it up on your socials that United View is live. Let's get the views up. Red Baron says, Martinez in the team equals we control the game. Is it about, like, going forward now, getting the perfect partner for Martinez? Like, obviously, Martinez is out now, so, you know, I know they said he can be back hopefully in March and stuff, but yeah, it is what it is. But longer term, you know, it's about finding that long-term successor to be with him, really, isn't it? And they have to be a certain type of defender, I think.
Yeah, I think it's, like I said, it's finding that partner. And also, this across the back four, and maybe just throughout the team, but particularly the back four, because we've really struggled this season across the back four with this, is we've got to find people that are durable. We've got to find people that are available and consistently available, you know, and their injury record is pretty strong because we have chopped and changed so much across the back line this season. Fullback, centre back, any position across the back four. We have had to change it a lot this season. And it's no coincidence that in the last couple of games where we've been able to name near enough the same back four, obviously Leach had to drop out, but you saw there was a desperation by Ten Hag to name the same back four or name the same team. That's why Luke Shaw was risked against Luton, because he believes in that. He believes that, he said time and time again, it's about consistency. And if we have players consistently available, we'll be better. But that's where I push back to Ten Hag. And I'll say that if you believe in consistency and players got to be available, then you can't build your defense around a Luke Shaw, a Rafael Varane, because they're not available. We know they're not available all the time. Not doubting their quality, either one of them. Rafael Varane, as we've seen, still has fantastic stats. He still is the Ghost of Rafe the Phantom, all that kind of stuff. But we know his physical limitations. We know that if we're in the Champions League and in all these competitions that we want to be competing in, he can only really play once a week. This schedule right now is a schedule that suits him, to be honest, which is once a week football. And that's fine if you've got a really big squad, a strong squad almost like a City where you can bring them out and put them in for big games. We don't really have that. And our manager is preaching consistency. So in the summer, you don't have to go, well, maybe his wages get off the books and we look to replace him with a younger, again, more consistently available centre-back, partner Martinez. Luke Shaw, you cannot build a sustainable, consistently available back four with Luke Shaw as your starting left back. Not doubting his quality, but certainly doubting his availability because the numbers don't lie. And we do have to keep the same energy, or at least I know I do, with Anthony Martial. I've always said there comes a point where you go, look, sorry, it's just not working out in that. You're not available enough. You're constantly getting injured. It's the same with Luke Shaw. I mean, Velasquez had an absolute nightmare this season with his knee, the setback. So summer, left back, that has to be on the agenda. 100% on the agenda.
Has to be a really priority, one that we don't really speak about enough because we always want to fix the midfield, get control of the games, this, that, and the other. But it is a big problem at left back because he's just so inconsistently available, and it's just so annoying. And when he is in good moments, he has a good season here or there, and then it goes back to normal. And it's like, I just want someone who's just going to consistently do that or go there and then stay there. Do you know what I mean?
You want to talk about, people want to talk about sustainable style of play. You want to have a team selection that's sustainable as well. And we know that our best 11 is not a sustainable starting 11 in the sense of we can pinpoint the people they're going to pick up injuries, And look, it's not a case of we pick a team that never gets injured because that just doesn't happen in football. Injuries happen, suspensions happen, illnesses happen. But you want people that for the majority of the season are going to be available and are not going to drop out at key moments. Or if the schedule does really ramp up, you're going to have to cycle them in and out because inevitably they're going to get hurt by wear and tear. So that's where you look at that back four and you go, well, there's got to be changes there. There just has to be. Absolutely.
Yeah, there does. David Lote says, I think Rashford should be Ollie's first signing. Interested. Red Baron says, Martinez, I've read that one already. Milverton Richards, big up to you. Latest member of the UV Members Club. Big up to you, Milverton. Nice one, bro. Appreciate you. So Alex Ferguson, thank you for the super chat, says, get Alonso, and I don't care if he played for Liverpool. So did Sir Matt Busby.
Yeah, he did.
Saying,
would you take Xabi Alonso at Manchester United? Do you want me to put some conditions on it? Obviously, if Eric goes.
Okay, so I don't have to just.
You're saying Alonso over Eric, or are you saying Ineos make a decision? We want to go in a different direction. If they do,
would I have him?
Yes. Would you take Xabi Alonso?
Yeah. If it was in those circumstances that you said, and Eric got relieved. Yes, but I still think stick with Eric. But that wasn't your question, so that's fine. But I'm just saying, yes, I would do it under those circumstances. In these circumstances, I want to see what Eric looks like with a new look Man United.
To be honest as well, it's not even really a conversation because there are several better options for him. Obviously Liverpool and Bayern, two clubs he's played for. So they're like, those two options, we're already a far away third in that aspect.
But we do have to see how he, I do want to see a bit more, though. I know he's doing incredibly well right now, and he's probably going to win the league. So that would be massive. It's a massive achievement. No one expected it. But, I don't want it to be a one-season wonder. I don't know. But he's perfect for Liverpool, isn't he, really, with what they want to do?
Well, and this is going to sound crazy when you win the Bundesliga with someone that isn't Bayern Munich. But anyone that does get him, they are taking a gamble on him in the sense of, like you said, when they go, is it just the stars align, great season?
Yeah, because it just comes together. The type of players they bought, they hit the form at the right time.
This is probably a terrible comparison, but, Claudio Ranieri at Leicester, where it's like, when you go, actually, was it just
was meant to be?
Was it just that? Or
you don't want to take away from him because tactically how they play is very impressive. It is very impressive.
Exactly.
But every time you did watch Leicester in that league in the league that year, you were like, bloody, like,
yeah, exactly. Like,
and it proved really because when that squad got dismantled with players like Kante and bloody, Mahrez and that.
Well, even the season after, they just took Kante and that was it.
Yeah,
they were in trouble. So
yeah,
it'll be. I'm very interested to see how he does elsewhere. I mean, chances are, and again, this is where he's got to probably be quite, this is where he's got to be quite calculated and quite clever, because let's say he goes to Bayern Munich, you probably win the league there. I know that they got their problems on that, but you probably win the league there. The Liverpool one, that's an interesting one, because if he goes to Liverpool and he does really well, then you go, I tell you what, he is the real deal, no doubt about it.
He is. There was a funny talking about people who say mad stuff. Stuart Blythe replied to me on X. Replied to our post about obviously the show this morning. Hojlund deserves respect. Stuart says, deserves respect. Why? Because our 64 million striker is doing his job and scoring goals.
I told you. You said they don't exist. You said they don't exist, Flex.
Are we going to forget the first 12 games or so where he couldn't hit water if he fell out a boat? So I just responded to him with laughing emojis. But yeah. They are there. That's the first one I've seen.
I told you they're there. Show also says in the chat, comparing Alonso to Ranieri is nonsense. Look at the way Leverkusen play. It's amazing given the players they have. Maybe Show missed when I said it's not a very good comparison. So you're saying.
Yeah.
So you're saying Claudio Ranieri should be the next Manchester United manager. That's exactly what I'm saying. Claudio, bring him back. Dilly ding, dilly dong. At Old Trafford. Yes, please.
Nem Green says Deschamps or Alonso. I'd say Alonso. Forward-thinking manager, young, new ideas. Deschamps, not for me. Not for me. Well, there you have it. Big show, good show. Enjoyed it. Loads of comments from you guys. Everybody getting involved. Thank you to everybody who has got involved with chats and super chats and comments and likes and subscribing, which we can still do a bit better. We can break the 400 mark towards the end of the show. We definitely can do that. What have we got coming up today? We've got the Flex and KG show at 6 p.m. As well as maybe some other stuff off our sleeve. Hopefully we can bring that to you guys ASAP. But yes, as Michael says right there, like the video on the way out. Thank you for joining us for a good show. What have we taken from today's show? Well, we've taken that Owen thinks that Rasmus Højlund is the best striker in the world. Claudio
Ranieri is a better manager than Xabi Alonso, and I want him at Manchester United, certainly. It's not what you say, it's what you don't say, Flex. That's the important thing.
Absolutely.
That's the important thing.
Remember, video is brought to you by Cracks Only, and you can check out all of their merch in the video description below. The link is right there in the comments section. Anyway, we'll be seeing you guys later on tonight, 6 p.m. Flex and KG show. Oh, on the way out, Milverton, you got there just in time. Milverton says, do you think Eric can play Ajax ball with the new backroom staff who are focused people? That is why we hired him, but yet to see it. I think he spoke about that already, man. No, I don't think he is. But maybe when it changes, maybe it's not Ajax ball, it's just a different type of football that we all agree that we want to play, and that's what they go after, and that's the type of players that they go and get. So hopefully.
And when he says backroom staff, does he mean more the executives? Because of course he's backroom staff.
He means that.
His people. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. I think that's still going to stay the same. No, there isn't going to be any FIFA today. Got to go down to the studio and record with KG today. Got a busy day today, so no FIFA today. I thought I'd give Minna a rest. It's her birthday week as well. Or it was. She just
it is, and she's also a bit under the weather. She said yesterday. I think she's
still recovering from the humiliation.
Taking it badly. Yeah, taking it badly.
Yeah, because I absolutely destroyed her. If you haven't seen it, go back and watch last week's FIFA.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. I absolutely rinsed her. So anyway, guys, we're out of here. Take care. Peace.